Hey, welcome. Hello, YouTube. Hello, Facebook. How is everything going with y'all? How you doing? Welcome. Hey, Marks109 here right away. Look at that. Instantly here. Much appreciated. Well, welcome, guys. Little bit of a return to form tonight. And what do I mean by that? Well, the last time I did a live draw was technically 2 weeks ago. Because, if you remember, last week was my big Halloween show. It was kind of a fun experimental thing. And those of you that were here, I really do appreciate that. If you haven't seen my Halloween show, I have to be honest with you guys. Now, I knew that there was a chance people would not see it because it was a Friday night. It was Halloween night. I know people go out and do like the party thing, trick-or-treating and all that stuff. And so I was like, yeah, there's a good chance people aren't going to show up. But I'm going to tell you, I had so much fun. I had probably way too much fun. And it would genuinely make me happy if more people would go back and check it out just for fun. I mean, obviously, it's not live anymore. But it was such a silly, fun time. And I really hope you go back and check out my Halloween show. It was great. Hey, Sam OK is here. Happy Friday live draw to you too. Thanks for being here. Sam OK has a little symbol next to her name because she is one of my YouTube channel members, and channel members get their comments on screen, nice and large and in charge. So before that, right, the week before, oh hey, Christian Costilla, right? Is that right? Hello, welcome. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. So 2 weeks before that, I had to go back and look at my videos from 2 weeks ago because I was like, what was I even doing 2 weeks ago? Well, I was starting scene 51, and what's interesting is, at least interesting to me, is in the last 2 weeks, I not only finished scene 51, but I started and finished scene 52 completely off camera. So you guys didn't even know I was working on that. And now, earlier today, I started scene 53. So I'm moving forward pretty steadily right now, which is great. Part of why I think I'm moving so quickly is because there's a couple things happening. The scenes I'm working on right now, and by the way, those of you that are just new to my channel and just popping in going, what is he talking about? I see some of you coming in. Basically, I'm an independent animator, and I'm making a roughly 7-minute animated short. I'm doing it on paper, the old-fashioned way. And you can kind of see my drawings behind me. Well, if you're watching this on vertical, you probably can't see. But if you're watching me this way, horizontally, then you can see some drawings behind me on the wall. Oh yeah, 6'7", says Liz Roche. 6'7", did I get that right? Cal Skiing says hi. Hello. Amelia says 6'7". All right, well, we got the 6'7s happening tonight. But anyway, so I'm animating a cartoon on paper. I'm I don't know, 2,700 drawings into it, and I'm not exaggerating. Maybe more than that. I haven't been looking at it recently. And the scenes I've been working on recently are like 3.5 seconds long, which for this cartoon, that's a little on the shorter side. And what that means is it gives me, I don't know, like a shorter goal. And so I've been kind of hitting those goals a little bit quicker, which is nice. It's also, I think, because this is the end of, or this is nearing the end of the cartoon, and the way that I structured my storyboards, which, by the way, I'm gesturing off camera here because my storyboards are on my wall. I'm pointing at them as I'm talking. The way I structure the storyboards in this final part of the cartoon is the shots start to become a little bit quicker and a little bit more intense and emotional because we're kind of crescendoing to, the big end of the conflict. Oh, my name is not Amelia. My name is Amy. Oh, well, I'm sorry. Amy, hi. Nice to meet you. Nice to have you guys here. I do appreciate you. Welcome to my channel. I I've been doing this for a long time, but it is always nice to meet new people. So I definitely appreciate that. And this is live if you haven't figured that out already. So if you're watching this as it's happening in the moment, what these videos are, I do them every Friday night at 9 p.m. Central. I call them my LiveDraw videos. And basically, I kind of talk with you guys a little bit. And well, throughout the whole thing, I talk with you guys. But really, in the beginning part of the video, I kind of catch you up as to what I've been working on. I like to talk with you guys about, so I get a lot of artists who come and visit me, so I like to hear what you guys are working on. If you're an animation student or an art student, I love to hear what you guys are doing as well. And then later in the video, I typically turn my camera this way at my drawing board, which is over here, and then I just kind of draw the rest of the time and play some music, and then take your questions as well. So you guys are welcome to engage with me that way, and I would be glad to, chat back. So anyway, just started scene 53 today, and I was looking at what I have left on my wall. I've got 4 storyboard pages remaining, and each page has 6 panels on it, but sometimes multiple panels are part of the same scene. So I was sitting here, I was trying to go, how many scenes do I have left in the whole thing? And it's kind of hard to tell, because sometimes I'll see a couple different scenes that I want to merge together, and that obviously changes the final number. So as best I can tell right now, it's somewhere between maybe 11 and 15, but that's total, based on the original 24 pages of storyboards. So hello to Fernando Rivera. Okay. Hey, thanks for subbing, Cal Skiing. I appreciate you for subbing. I do appreciate that. My channel does have a lot of cool animation stuff. If you guys are animation fans, I host this podcast called Stay Tuned, where I talk with animation industry professionals, and I like to look behind the scenes and find out what their jobs in the animation world are. So you've got plenty of stuff to go and look at when we're not doing this live thing. And then you can come back on Friday. Sometimes in the middle of the week, I do a random live stream where I try some bizarro candy that I've never had before, and I unbox it live with you guys and tell you if I thought it was worth buying. Someone said they just donated $10. Did you? Okay, thank you if you did. I don't see that anywhere, but I'll take your word for it. That's very kind of you if you're really being serious. But if you like to support what I'm doing for free as well, of course, subscribing here is one way. The other way is you can head over to retailsunshine.com, and that's where I post behind the scenes artwork, and I kind of tell you what my process is a little bit more. So you can follow me there for free as well. All right. Anyway, so this latest scene, actually, let me grab a storyboard and I'll show you. Those of you that are new to my channel, I will show you a little bit of what I'm talking about. So get a little bit of visual aid tonight. So this is a storyboard page. So 24 of these storyboard pages are what make up my cartoon. Now I am going to go back when I'm done with these 24 pages, when I'm done penciling all the drawings. I'm sorry it was fake. If I had money, I could give it to you. Have a good day. That's okay. That's all right. No worries. Anyway, so I've got 24 of these, and each one of these squares typically, sometimes 2 squares are one scene, but typically 1 square is 1 scene. So I've got 24 of these, and this is number 21 of 24. So I've got my final 4 are on my wall right now. When I'm finished going through all the final 4, the plan after that is to go back and do what they call in the film industry as pickups. And pickups in the film industry are typically shots that didn't work out well, or shots that maybe you missed and didn't think about at the time, but you realize now that you look at everything, that maybe you would do better to have those shots. So that's what's going to happen when I'm done here. I will go back and look through the whole thing and go, okay, is there anything missing? Did I get anything? Did I look over anything? Well, I can tell you, I already know there are going to be some pickups that I'm going to have to do. And I thought of them months ago, but I decided instead of dropping everything and going, oh, let me do those now as I'm thinking of them, I decided, no, I'm going to keep moving forward through the original 24 pages, and then I'll go back afterwards. And the reason why I chose to do that is momentum in animation. I think it's true probably for any artist in any kind of like large project, but I'm going to specifically speak to animation. Momentum is critical if you want a project to actually become finished. I was worried a lot of the time in the early stages that here I was making these giant claims that I was going to do this cartoon and posting my progress and telling everybody this is what I'm going to be doing. I was kind of worried that I had taken on something that was maybe too much or insurmountable for one person. And now, fast forward from May of 2023, fast forward to now, November of 2025, and I'm looking at the final 4 pages on my wall. So it feels really great to get to this point, and I'm no longer afraid of not finishing, but I definitely was a little concerned for a while. So, and to be fair, once I finished doing all the pencil animation, I still have a lot more work ahead of me. But the cool thing is, once all that's done, I will have I could push play and watch the entire cartoon. And I think once that happens, it's going to take on a different feeling because it won't be this big question mark. It'll be like, all right, there it is, right? And now the question is, can I make it better? Can I change anything? Then it's time to start cleaning up drawings and adding color, adding the backgrounds, adding props, adding sound effects, which I do plan on doing my own Foley. For those of you who don't know that term, Foley is the art of making sound effects to match up with film. Sam OK says, congratulations on getting this far. Thank you very much. Thank you. And then part of the cool thing that I've been looking forward to is my composer, who's a great guy named Dave. Once I finish the pencil animation, the rough pencil animation, then I can send it to him, my composer. And so then while I'm doing post-production cleanup work, he's going to be writing music, which is great because I don't have to it's one of the only things. I mean, I'm going to be actively involved in telling him what sounds I kind of want and what moods I want. But I'm also going to let him be creative and do whatever he thinks is best, and then kind of we'll sort of reconvene and I can say yes or no to whatever. But my point is that then I'll be going and doing post-production. He'll be writing the music, and while I'm doing post-production, he will probably finish the music before I finish, which means I will then one day receive music, which is great, and then I get to pair that music with my visuals and see how that goes together, which I think is going to be really exciting. I'm a little bit afraid of it, to be honest, because music can definitely shape and adjust how people feel about the visuals. So I do get a little nervous about that. And while I have written melodies, and I did play music growing up, like I played piano and cello, and I sang in different choirs. I don't call myself a composer. I haven't done enough of it, and I'm not familiar enough with compositional software for me to write all my own music. So it's one of those things where it's like, if I really, really, really wanted to, I suppose I could push myself to write the music as well. But I don't feel it's not something that I focus on. So I kind of feel like, why would I put myself through that when I could just be focusing on the visual part, which is really what I love to do anyway. Thanks for the thumbs up on Facebook from Nathan Bechtold. I appreciate that. Courtney on Facebook says, bring all the senses into it. Love it. Bring all the senses into it. What What did I miss? What senses? So anyway, yeah. So I'm pretty excited about getting music like for this cartoon and then marrying those two things together. What's really important before that happens, though, is I have to make sure I go through and have the entire cartoon like locked in, meaning I can't go back and go, oh, now I need to lengthen this part or shorten this part, because my composer is going to be writing to the exact like length specifications that I give him. So before I send it off to Dave, I'm going to have to be darn sure that I know exactly that I have all the visuals that I want. Oh, by adding music, it's no longer just visual, right? Well, and there is dialogue right now, so there is already audio. But what I worry about is having music and dialogue and sound effects, like making that mix so that so that nothing gets lost. That is something that is going to take a while. People don't realize that like sound is so critical. Sound can kind of make or break your production. And with as much time as I'm spending on the visuals, I would hate for bad sound, like if the mix is not right, because then that takes away from what you're looking at. So that's going to be the trick. It's like a whole nother project is once I go into audio mixing. So and we'll see. Dave might be helping me with the audio mixing too. I think he did mention something like that. So Courtney says that's the producer end of things. Indeed, it is. I will tell you that part of why I love this project so much and part of why it is so challenging is because I get to wear a lot of hats. For the majority of it, my hat is animator. I'm drawing the frames. But, I wrote the script. I voice acted 2 of the characters. I had to cast my actors, so I had to pick which actors would be the other voices. Then I had to direct the other actors as they did their vocal performances and kind of coach them through different things. Then I'm an audio engineer because I've taken that dialogue from them and I've like chopped it up and picked the parts I wanted and kind of adjusted the volumes. Yeah, I mean, really, like I'm an editor in real time because I'm constantly adjusting like how long things happen on screen. So it's so many hats. It really truly is. So that when I hand over the reins to Dave, my composer, even though I'm still going to be involved, I am still handing the reins over to him to write the music. It's one of the only things I'm handing the reins over. So it's a little scary because I've definitely been, keeping a sharp control over everything. And I'm trusting him. But it is also exciting because it's something that I get to kind of receive from him, and then I get to kind of hear for the first time, and then see it with the visuals. So that's an exciting thing. I haven't had that experience yet, so, or at least not with this cartoon. Someone named Bojangle is asking, have I been to the Philippines? I have not been to the Philippines. I have been overseas, but I have not been to the Philippines. Hello to Blood Visions. Hello. Let's see. What is this person asking me? Is it Izek Delgado? Hi, Phil. I have 2 tickets for WWE Elimination Chamber next year in Chicago City. I saw show Speed in Chicago months ago. Well, that's exciting. Wow, I've never been to a WWE show before. That's kind of cool. Blood Vision says, if you have relations with a robot, but the robot is operated by another guy, is that gay? I'm not an expert in anything you just asked, so I don't think I'm the right person to ask that question to. Courtney says, are you going to do a post-production summary of the making of to go along with it? That's a fantastic question. I'm so glad you asked. Actually, that's a really good question. Something I have been doing as I go along this process is I've been taking progress photos of like rough drawings, or maybe they're not finished yet. I'm just kind of taking a photo in the moment, or I take photos of myself. I do selfies, or I'll do like my hand or my arm or leg, for reference, so that I can look at my phone with the photograph on it, and if I need to see like what expression I was making, so I can recreate that on paper. And all those photos, I've been keeping those in a folder on my phone. And so what I'd like to do as I get closer to the end of the cartoon is I actually want to make a making of book that people can buy. Maybe I'll do a Kickstarter, and that can be one of the rewards is the printed book, and the book is like the art of, or the making of, new ad day. That's what I'm thinking about doing. I think that would be really fun. And then when I eventually show the cartoon at like screenings here in Texas, excuse me, um, those books would be available like for purchase after watching the screening. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know how like long of a book it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be incredibly long. I just think it'd be nice to have something like to go along with it, because I'm not selling physical cartoon copies of the cartoon. I will have physical copies of my comic books. I'll have that, but I think a making of would be really nice. So that's the plan. Allstate, Isaac Delgado says Allstate Arena is super far away from my hometown, Chicago. I've never been to Allstate Arena, but I will tell you, years ago in the early 2000s, back when I was doing a lot more comic book conventions, I used to do Wizard World Chicago. That show doesn't exist anymore, but Wizard World would have conventions all over the country, and there were huge shows. They were second only to Comic-Con. And the Chicago show was in a little town called Rosemont in Illinois. So for like 5 years in a row, every summer or whatever it was, late summer, I would drive from where I lived in Ohio 4 or 5 hours to Chicago to do this awesome show in Chicago. And I loved doing that show. It was really great. It was expensive, but I made some great friends there, some of which I still talk to this day. And so I have fond memories of Chicago because of Wizard World. And I wish that show would have stuck around. It got really expensive, though. They started charging like $300 for an Artist Alley table, which if you know about Artist Alley, it's for the independent artists out there. $300 is a lot. I mean, you're not guaranteed to make anything at that show. You kind of have to go there with the expectation of losing money. Otherwise, it can be really stressful to try to make back your table. Courtney says on Facebook, you also have a lot of knowledge to discuss about all the different hats you've worn throughout. Well, thank you. Might be nice to touch on each different piece and give some insight into what all you did. Thank you. That's really helpful. Yeah, I mean, I think I'd like that. I think I would like, I talk about it with you guys here. That's part of why I do these videos, honestly. Even if people don't show up, I still do these live streams every Friday. Part of the reason I do them is because it's like it's like a scheduled journal session for me once a week, and it's really cathartic for me to sort of hear myself like saying these things, and then sometimes I'll realize it as I'm saying it. I'll go, yeah, that sounds about right, or maybe that doesn't sound like it resonates with me. So yeah, channeling all of that into the making of book, I think would be a lot of fun. So I'll probably do that. It's going to be challenging though, I'll tell you, because I'm going to be wrapping up the cartoon, and then I guess I won't release the cartoon yet. I'll probably pause and be making the book. And my thought is I'll step away from the cartoon for a little while I'm making the book, so that I can go back and look at the cartoon again and then decide if I want to change anything. Because something I've learned, and if you guys are artists, you know what I'm talking about. If you look at something you've worked on for a while with new eyes, where you kind of step away and come back, you'll know exactly what I mean. It sort of looks different. And I've already had that happen multiple times on this project, where I've walked away for a couple days and then I come back and the part I was just working on starts to look a little bit different, and I go, oh, I didn't catch that before. Let me fix that. So I really want it to turn out great. So I'm going to give myself some breathing room before I say that it's done. I will say, okay, it's done. I like where it is. I'm going to step away now, and then I'll come back and then see if I still like it. And if there's something that I don't like, then I'll have time to fix it. That's my plan. Am I Spider-Man? Well, am I Spider-Man? I can tell you this. I've never been seen in the same room as Spider-Man, so no one can prove I am or am not Spider-Man. Take that for what you will. All right, Isaac Delgado, have fun. It was nice meeting you. Appreciate that. Anyway, thanks, guys, for kind of engaging with me a little bit. Courtney says, try treating the making of book like an interview. Oh, interesting way to look at that. Ask a question or two about each aspect and see what your answers are, and then just elaborate. Okay, yeah, I like that. I honestly haven't really put any thought into how I want the book to be yet, other than I know I want to have all those photos that I told you about. I do want to have all of those in there. I kind of want to have like maybe a 2-page spread where it's nothing but selfies that I've taken, so I can like know what I want to draw. Or maybe I'll take like the selfie and I'll put it next to the drawing that I made based on the selfie. That could be fun. So you can kind of see like, oh, he looked at himself making this face, and then he drew this face. Again, this is all stuff I'm still kind of like debating. I don't have a clear-cut answer on the book yet. I am a little bit intimidated, even though I've made multiple books. I'm a little intimidated of making that particular book because I feel like a making of book is very raw. It's a very vulnerable book to make because you're not seeing a lot of final product. You're just seeing a lot of like the behind the scenes stuff, and putting that in print is a little bit scary, I think. But I have multiple art books on my shelf that are like the making of whatever, and I really love those books. I think they're super interesting. So Courtney says, could all the selfies turn into a flip book? That would be really cool, but no, I didn't do like successive selfies. I didn't do that. It's more like a one-off. So, but that's a fun idea. I do like that quite a bit. It would be cool to have a flip book built into the book. I guess I could always do that too. When I was growing up and I was looking at animation books, some of those animation books would have little characters drawn into the corner of like the page, the upper right corner of a page, and you could like take your thumb and flip the pages of the book and just look at the corner and see something animating. So like I could do that. I could take like one of the run cycles or walk cycles or whatever. I could take one of those cycles and I could print that in the corner of one of the pages. That would be really fun actually to do that. And then maybe on the other side of like the if you flip the page this way, have a different character doing their own cycle on that. So you could like flip all the pages one way and get one character walking, and then flip all the character pages the other way and get like getting another character running or something like that. That could be really fun. So Courtney says, the raw creation of things is where you shine, though. For years, you have given us insight into the process of art. That's easy peasy. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, this channel has really kind of turned into a process channel, I feel like, because between Stay Tuned, my podcast where I talk with people about the animation industry, which is a really big behind the scenes podcast, between that podcast and then now my live streams where I'm showing you my process, it really has. It's become a channel focused around like the creative process, with the exception of when I make those candy videos, which is that's just me being silly and fun. Anyway, so here's a little bit of what I've been working on today. So the new scene, which is scene 53, and I haven't numbered these drawings yet because I'm not sure where they fall in line with the scene yet. But the scene starts out with new guy. He is grabbing the laptop box, and he's like gesturing to it because Well, it's a long story, but he's gesturing to it because he's trying to explain that this laptop is basically identical to the one the customer wants, but the color is different. So he's like gesturing to it like this. Um, so that is that drawing, and then towards the end of that scene, he's like pointing to the box, because on the box is going to be a little graphic, and in the graphic it's going to say same laptop, new color. So that's the whole kind of point of this scene, is new guy is trying to explain to the customer that while the color is different, it is technically still the same uh, insides, the part that matters. To which the customer does not take that very lightly to that. He's not happy with that response. And then that's where kind of things blow up. That's like my big crescendo moment where he gets chewed out, and it's kind of an uncomfortable, embarrassing sort of moment. If you didn't know, the stories that I do with my comics and with this animation are very autobiographical from when I worked in retail for about a decade. And while this is not exactly verbatim an experience I had, it is pretty darn close to an experience I had, to multiple experiences that I had, where people would get very upset if the item they wanted was no longer in stock in the color they wanted. And the color had nothing to do with how well the product worked, but that doesn't matter. They got it in their head that they wanted the red one. And so if you don't have the red one, that's it. They're leaving, and they don't want to special order it because they came into the store today. And if you don't have it today, then they're not interested. So it's a very, very real story, in the sense that I've lived that a number of times. And the people I used to train, the staff that I used to train, they also had gone through it. I saw my fellow coworkers go through this just as much as I went through it. So it's not specifically about me, but it is about kind of these shared experiences that we had in retail. So if you've ever worked retail and you feel like you've got some stories to tell, or you've lived through some things, you might like Retail Sunshine, because that's what it's about. So if you go to retailsunshine.com, and you can follow me for free there, you can see all about my process and all that stuff. And I will point out, those of you who are new to my channel, if you go to bookpeople.com, that is one of the nation's largest independent booksellers. They have my giant compilation of comic strips. They've got it there. They ship internationally. So it's a great way to discover Retail Sunshine before the animated cartoon comes out, because that's what it all comes from. It's coming from all the stories that I've written about since 2008. I like channeled all of that into this animated cartoon. Anyway, I'm probably going to do a little bit of drawing. I'm getting somebody in the chat asking what's up with the toys in the background. Oh, this is this little cabinet here. I've got my Mars Attacks shelf right there. I'm a big Mars Attacks fan. I've got my Ghostbusters shelf here. I'm a big Ghostbusters fan. You can't see it because it's lower down, but I've got a Batman shelf, mostly with, a lot with Batman the Animated Series. So these are just things that make me happy, and I kind of like to have them on camera with me. I can't claim that I've contributed art to any of these things, but these are things that inspired me over the years. So Courtney on Facebook is asking, will you be doing any kind of tie-in with Best Buy once this is completed? Any pop-up events? Well, that's a great question. That is kind of up to Best Buy. I've given them opportunities over the years to kind of partner with me more than I already have in the past. And it's getting into getting involved with corporate, any company, is a kind of a hard thing to do. Sean Horton says, well, hello, my good sir. Hello, my good sir. Back to you. So I don't know. You know, maybe I'll approach corporate again. I I have tried with some of the stores in Texas to partner with them so I can paint some murals on their walls, because I did that in Ohio, and I'm told those murals are still there. I would have loved to have done that here, and unfortunately, it's a really hard thing to get approval for a store to get you to paint murals. So, oh boy, I love these kind of the questions. Okay, so somebody named PA12, is it like Parasite? Is that how you say your name, Parasite? I have a question. Hypothetically, if there was a steep infinite hill and you push an object like a ball down that infinite hill, what would the object's speed top off at? That sounds like a gravity question. If it is downhill, I don't even know you would have to push it. So I've never really been great at physics, so I'm probably the wrong person to ask that question to. I would say very, very fast. That's what I would say. I would say I'm glad I'm not on the other end, being steamrolled over by that giant ball. That's what I will say to that question. Interesting question. I do like it when you guys ask me interesting questions. You're welcome. You're welcome, Parasite. I don't know if that's the answer you wanted. I'm sorry. All right, I'm going to turn my camera around a little bit because I do want to do a little bit of drawing. This stage of a new scene, this stage of things is interesting to me because I don't necessarily know exactly. Like I'm deciding what poses I want, and so there's still a bit of a question mark in my head as to what exactly I'll be drawing, because I haven't staged it out 100% yet. Okay, I'm trying to get this so that you guys can see it in both the mobile version and in the landscape version. So if you're wondering why I'm trying to reposition stuff, it's because I'm trying to make it work for two different types of presentations. Okay, let's make that not fall over. That would be bad. Let's pull that forward. Okay. All right, that's better. Marks109 on YouTube says the terminal velocity of the rock is its top speed. There you go. That's a very intelligent answer. I did not have that answer ready, so I'm glad one of you guys did. Courtney over on YouTube, who has had a lot of good questions and contribution tonight, says they are still there, meaning my murals at Best Buy are still there. I visit them. Is there a chance to send it out to employees via an email link? It costs corporate nothing, but gets you massive exposure to an audience who can relate to your product. Again, that's a question for Best Buy corporate, and from the time that I worked there, I can tell you, doing anything on a wide scale basis, like from a corporation, is incredibly difficult, and I don't really have any say in any of that. So I could reach out to corporate once I finish this cartoon, and I may do that. I honestly, if I do a Kickstarter for a making of book, I may reach out to corporate. We'll see. I'm planning on spending maybe a year doing nothing but like promotional materials and trying to get into film festivals. So that's what is like waiting for me on the other side of finishing New Ad Day, is just promotional stuff. I'm excited about that, but I'm also kind of nervous about it because it's a lot. Promotions it's like a full-time job. So I'm gonna have to dedicate a year to it because it's just like constant. Anyway, all right. So I know I want him to end up there. Let's see. Let me look at my storyboard here and see what I've got going. How do I want to do this? I'm gonna put another. I'm gonna flip these drawings around actually. Courtney says, if you want to link up with an old pro at that, I have someone you should talk to. Text me about it later. Okay. Well, I don't want you to think I've never done promotions. I've done promotions for years, but I don't know that I've ever done anything like on this scale. Or if I really am going to be doing promotions for like a year or more, I don't know that I've ever done promotions for that length of time. So it's like I'm going to have to come up with some sort of I don't know. I'll probably have to come up with a bunch of lists of goals of things that I want to achieve with promotions, and then I've got something to like push for a little bit every day. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. People on social media are probably gonna get really sick of me real quick once I enter the promotions phase because I will probably be posting like almost nothing but that stuff for a long time. But can you blame me? I mean, this is a multi-year project. It's literally thousands of drawings. It'll probably cross over the 3,000. I mean, not probably. It's going to cross over the 3,000 drawing mark. I mean, can you blame me for wanting to spend tons and tons of time promoting it afterwards? It would be ridiculous if I didn't. I would be doing myself a disservice. Courtney says they are a film director and professor. Oh, okay. They present at film festivals frequently, so they may just be able to add to your knowledge. Hey, I am all about that. I will absolutely talk to you about that because while I have done film festival stuff in the past, the film festival circuit is kind of constantly evolving. And I feel like a lot of the film festival circuit has to do with making connections with people and sort of making sure that people know who you are. And yeah, so I will absolutely talk with you about that, Courtney. I appreciate the heads up and the offer for that. Thank you very much. Okay, so what am I going to be working on here? I got to figure that out. Let's get my light on for just 2 seconds. Get my crosshatch marks on there. All right, let's turn that off. All right. I think I want him to sort of be here. Maybe I want him to be a little bit this way. Yeah, I'm thinking something like that. All right, so we'll just sort of start the process of blocking him in. I've got an idea of where. Sometimes I approach a scene and I don't 100% know exactly how I want to break up each part of it. I have an idea of where I want like the main energy to go, but I don't always know exactly like all the moments in between that. And that is something I've learned that if I'm not careful about it, I'm going to move that up a little. No, that's probably fine. If I'm not careful about it, then the scene ends up like taking me for a ride, which I don't love when that happens. And I'm trying to avoid scene 53 turning into exactly that. I am a little bit apprehensive about it, and so I'm trying to be positive and say, no, it's not going to happen. I'm going to keep control of this scene. And so the way to do that, I find, is to go slower, believe it or not, and just sort of really focus on making sure my poses are good. All right, so Courtney says the industry is just like politics. It's all about staying current and who you know or can get to know. Yes, it is exactly that, and that is why I am not opposed to getting a little bit of help in that arena, because I sort of feel like if you don't do that, then you're just not You're not giving yourself every advantage. That's kind of how I feel about that. So, I mean, as it gets closer and closer to being completed, I will be really putting the pedal to the metal on networking. I plan on doing a lot of networking, a lot more networking. I do networking now, but I plan on doing a lot more of it once I get closer to having a finished product. Do I like how that is going to go? Do I feel like that's a little too low? No, I mean, that's okay. I think it's okay. Oh, darn this scene already. I'm already getting a little in my head about it. All right, so let's try to get his body figured out here. Hey, Mr. T-Boo, are you late? Yeah, technically. I've been here for 45 minutes. Courtney says, remind me also to link you up with my contacts at WBGU and PBS. Yes, that I will absolutely take you up on 100%. Absolutely. I would agree. I think alma mater alumni stories are great. And I think you are 100% right about that. So thank you for that. That's a great suggestion. All right, you can kind of see him moving a little bit, kind of, yeah, a little bit. Yes, you are 45 minutes late, Mr. T-Boo, but that's okay. You can always go back and watch the first 45 minutes any old time you want. I know everybody tells me the problem with doing a live stream is that if you don't watch it when it's live, then people don't want to watch it at all. And I get it. I don't love it. I do get it. There's something more exciting about being live when it's live. All right, maybe I can do maybe I can put his hand on it. Oh, that could be interesting. See, I don't usually do this. I don't usually like make decisions like this on camera. I usually have my stuff already kind of mentally planned out, and I like to save in betweening that step for live streams because I don't have to think too much. I can kind of talk with you guys and just sort of be doing busy work. But this is not busy work. This is me actually like staging out the scene, and I don't love doing that in real time because it means I'm putting myself on the spot and having to make decisions. I don't love doing that. But thankfully, because I got a little bit of it done before I went on tonight, I had some ideas in my head of what I wanted to do. So I didn't come into it completely like blank canvas. Not completely blank canvas, only a little bit blank canvas. The blank canvas is the most feared of all the canvases because it demands the question, what now? And no, I'm not quoting anything. I'm just making a general statement. I think that's like the most terrifying thing anybody could ever say is draw whatever you want. Here's a blank piece of paper. Oh, thanks. Anything I want? That narrows it down. I'll get right on that. Mr. T-Boo says, I'm watching all the time. You stream usually they finish in 1 hour with 10 minutes or 9 minutes. Yes, you're right. You're right. Well, we've got about 10 minutes left in this hour. I'm really happy to have you here, though. I love having my regular people show up. It means a lot to me that you guys keep coming back week after week. Super, super nice of you. You guys could be watching literally anything and doing anything, but you choose to hang out with me on a Friday night, and it means quite a bit. So thank you very much. Part of my plan once I finish doing the rough pencils of this whole cartoon is I plan to take a portable drawing table with me to like a local coffee shop and maybe cleaning up my drawings in public. I don't know if I would do a live stream doing that. I probably wouldn't, but if I would, I probably would just not be talking. I would just be drawing. But until I feel comfortable to take my existing drawings and to go out and work on them in public, I don't feel comfortable doing that now because I'm coming up with stuff on the fly, and I don't want to do that in front of a lot of people. I'd rather just be doing cleanup in front of people. But that makes doing this live stream, I feel like it's a really good compromise. Because I'm kind of in public right now, but I can't really see anybody, and I don't feel like anybody's looking over my shoulder too much. So it's a good compromise, honestly. And you know, I get a little bit of socialization with you guys. I'm trying to keep up with your comments, but I'm also trying to actually make this drawing happen. So I apologize if I get delayed. Regulars assemble, says Marks. Courtney says, and if you happen to want to do anything with Black Swamp Arts Festival, I might happen to have the inn there and Apple Butter Festival. My wheels are now turning. Oh, I love that. Maybe. I mean, if BG wanted me to come back and give some kind of like a lecture or talk or something like that, and it was timed like the same week as Black Swamp Arts Festival or Apple Butter Festival, maybe I would do that. I don't know how much traveling I plan on doing, because you have to understand I'm going to have to pay for all that. I hate to make it about money, but like, I mean, yeah, it comes down to money. Like how many film festivals I want to submit to, that's also a money thing, which is part of why I said I'm thinking of doing a Kickstarter where a making of book is the reward. My thought is I would be raising money for film festivals. That's kind of what I'm thinking about. It's not really about the book, the making of book, because really I could make the making of book without a Kickstarter. I could just make it like I'll just order 10 at a time, and then if people want one, then I'll order another batch of them. It doesn't really have to happen because of Kickstarter, but raising money via Kickstarter for film festival fees and expenses, yeah, that's something that I could probably see myself doing, because that stuff that really adds up a lot. All right, so I feel like that's kind of working. I kind of want to have him maybe looking off to the side. Let's see, how do I want to do this? But I don't want him to look angry. I just want him to be looking off to the side. So I might have to adjust how I'm doing this. This is a complicated expression that I want to do. We will discuss further. I may be able to get you a grant to do a BG tour. Well, that's exciting. That would be really awesome. I would love that. To have a film, to be able to tour with a film, and then have like the book to take with me. But I would really be bringing multiple books with me because I would be bringing Everything Must Go. I would have to bring Everything Must Go because even though Everything Must Go isn't the making of this cartoon, it is in the sense that that's where it all comes from. It comes from all those comics. So in a sense, that book is kind of a making of, or inspired by, or whatever you want to call it. I'm getting there though. I'm maybe, like I said, I'm between like 11 to 15 scenes remain in the original planned storyboarded scenes. That's way closer. I mean, it's amazing to me to be able to say that right now. Oh, did I just come up with a new way to draw that? That's kind of cool. I don't know if I like it, but huh. How do you like that? Sometimes I come up with something that I hadn't done a certain way before, and I don't know if I like it or not. But I do love slight adjustments to a existing way of doing things. He's looking kind of perplexed. I'm drawing a perplexed look. All right, so I would love to get involved with like Animation Magazine and some of those bigger publications and see if I can get something happening with those. That's definitely like on my mind. Not quite there yet though, but you know, I find myself like thinking about those things more and more as I get closer, and you know, it's like it's tricky. It's like I don't. Part of me doesn't even want to bother doing all that stuff because it's such a freaking. I don't know. It's a little bit annoying, but it's like then on the flip side, one of the biggest difficult things uh, about being a filmmaker is distribution. And what do you need for distribution? Um, you need people to know your stuff exists. So then it's like, oh, so I have to be putting myself in the public eye so that people are thinking about it and talking about it and spreading the word about it. And so then it becomes a necessity. So it's like, oh, I didn't really want to do this. I don't want to constantly be like, hey, look at me. But then if you don't do that, then no one sees your film. And so it's like this, I don't know, double-edged sword thing. Courtney says, we will do a brainstorming session and then can go see what strings I can pull. Well, that's very, very kind of you. Thank you for doing that, Courtney. That really means a lot to me. Thank you. Yeah, it's, you know, if I have to have a little bit of help on the publicity side of things, so be it. I mean, I'm already making the darn thing. That's work enough. Okay, you can kind of see where I'm going with this, right? You can kind of see how he's ending up there, and then from there he like is going to go to there, I don't know how. I'm going to get him from there to there. But from right now, he goes from here to here. So these are just these are keyframes. These are basically like telling an actor what their mark is on stage and where they need to stick their mark. And then as long as I'm happy with that, then I just have to get him from point A to point B. He's got a chin. He's one of my characters that has. This is one of those things where like trying to define these characters that are kind of, you could argue they are very, very similar looking to each other. I don't want to say the word generic, but I mean, you know, when I started Retail Sunshine, I wasn't really planning on character development. And by wasn't really, I mean I wasn't planning on character development. I wasn't planning on having separate personalities. It was very much like, I need to tell this joke. And for this joke, I need one girl, one guy, and like one child, and a shopping cart, and an employee, and it was basically, what do I need? And I would just come up with whatever I needed for that comic, and then I would move on to the next comic, and I wouldn't bother keeping things trailing over from the previous comic. It wasn't about that. It wasn't about having a story. It was about telling jokes. And since from 2008 to now, it has evolved, and now I'm doing way more storytelling. There's still a lot of jokes. I would argue there's like a ton of jokes woven throughout. But now I'm getting more joy out of storytelling with humor versus just like, let me come up with a gag. So it's evolved quite a bit. All right, I only got one drawing done tonight, but that's fine. We did a lot of talking tonight, and I think I probably needed that. I've been doing a lot of drawing recently to the point where my hand is kind of cramping up sometimes. It like without warning, my hand will just kind of cramp up when I'm like washing my hands or whatever, and I don't love that. It's not great. So nights like tonight, I sort of am mindful of it, and I go, all right, maybe I don't push so hard. Maybe I get a little bit of drawing done, but like just enough so that I got something accomplished on the project today, but I didn't like push myself too hard. Because I think like last week I was really going for it, and I wanted to make sure I finished the scene 51. I think I wanted to get that done by Halloween, and I ended up doing that. I didn't think I was going to be able to, but it happened. All right, I need some eyebrows. I'm like, what's wrong with him? Why does he not look like he's completed yet? It's because I'm missing his eyebrows. I know we're already over an hour. I get it. I'm sorry that I've ran over a little bit tonight. All right, I gave him some eyebrows. Eyebrows are subject to change. We'll see what happens. But all right, so there we go. So I've got, my camera came out of focus. Sorry about that. There we go. So here we go. So that's kind of what's going on here tonight. All right. And I think this is the end of the word laptop. So I'm going to make a little note to myself and write the word laptop at the top of the page. And I'm going to underline the end of the word so I know that this is where it ends. And we'll see what happens from there. Okay, so that's about it. How many likes for Phil Machi to subscribe to our channels? I don't understand what you're asking, Mr. Tibu. I do appreciate you asking about subscribers, but I don't know what you're asking me. Courtney says, fun fact, I was in a marketing and managing job when we met eons ago. LOL. I do remember that. It'll be like a blast from the past, but on a bigger scale. Happy to help. Well, that is very sweet of you. Thank you. Thanks, guys, for being here tonight. I really appreciate you. Thanks for the Facebook like from Selena Hernandez. And if you are liking on YouTube, thank you. I can't see that right now from where I'm live streaming, but I thank you in advance before I go and look at it later. I hope to see you guys back here Friday next week. Who knows where I'll be? Who knows how far into this scene I will be? I'm on scene 53. And we'll see how far into it I get by the time next Friday rolls around. I think I told you guys I set a goal. Oh, bye, Mr. Tibu. He says I need to go to sleep. Bye, my friends. Bye, Mr. Tibu. I think I told you guys I set a goal for myself to complete all pencil animation, at least from the first 24 storyboard pages, within like before my birthday, which is in May. So my goal is to get it done by May. Now, if I can get all of the rough pencil animation done by May, that will be truly amazing. I would love that. But while that is my goal, I'm going to keep working on it the way that I have been, which is just do as much as I can every single day that I can. Because sometimes I end up reaching goals I didn't know I was going to hit. So I've been averaging about 12 seconds of animation per month. I've been able to keep that consistent, which has been awesome. So, of course, that's still my goal, to keep that and not lose that. But if I can get more than 12 seconds, that would be great. All right, you guys. Thanks for hanging out. I will see you next week, and have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.